Okay.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry I'm late. Had a little something I had to get rid of. I see S.O. Swanson. Good morning, everyone. Andy says, good morning. Buster says, hi to all. Good to see y'all. Diane Tuttle says, good morning, all. Good morning, Diane. I hope everybody's having a blessed weekend. My hand's all better that I burnt. I had burned it real bad Wednesday. Ain't nothing worse than a steam burn. Andy says, how is everybody this morning? Andy, everything's going good here. Diane says, sun is shining and warmer today. Andy says, I'm glad your hand's doing better. Yeah, I have a few tender spots on it still, but now I can get back to work. Putting it in water and ice packs for 8 hours kind of drew that heat out. It was so bad, the pain went all the way up to my shoulder. What I did is I opened up the distiller too quick. It had just finished, and I wasn't thinking. And as soon as it cracked open, it burnt my hand like crazy. And I tell you what, the medical society around here don't know what to do about steam burns. They know what to do about fire burns, but they don't know anything about steam burns. And it tried to blister, and I put it back in that ice water, and yeah, I wasn't going to let it blister. Diane says, I have done that before, and it hurts. Yeah, it hurts. A fire burn, you can see the damage. A steam burn, you can't see the damage. And this is from steam from a distiller. Because I just finished distilling a gallon of water. Nah, Andy, the fire department wouldn't even know what to do with a steam burn. Like I said, they know more what to do about a fire burn than they do a steam burn. Hey, Mark, Little Ridge Farm says, howdy. How you doing, Mark? Andy says she knows she was kidding around. Yeah, Andy, I take everything as a joke, but I answer it as though you're serious. I'm crazy like that. That's why I make a good standing man. Mark says he's okay. As you guys can see, I got my halo, so it's sunny outside. Let's turn over a little bit this way. Well, I guess my cousin disappeared or he's working. And he says, odds are I'm probably joking around 90% of the time. Yeah, I know. Did you get hold of Jasmine or did Jasmine get hold of you, Andy? because I think she wanted to talk to you about rabbits. Diane says, when you are changing out older quail, what do you do with them other than freezer? Feed them to my dog? And he says, yes, we did. Thanks. Okay, that was my big concern. When I change out the older quail, they make good dog food because I give it to Lucy raw. She says, still waking up here, listening. I feel hungover but did not drink. And that's because you were fighting in your sleep, Steve. No, Lucy, you got 2 hours till you go out, and no sense of you climbing in my lap this early. We were talking about feeding her dog. I'm going to give her a quail, you guys. And she says, thanks. Oh, Steve, I don't like them mornings. Hold on a second, guys. Now, I just pulled this little beauty out of the freezer. It's okay. Yes, she likes it frozen. She plays with it a little bit, then she eats it. Now, can you hear me, Steve? Diane says, good to know. Sound back good. Yeah, I must have accidentally tapped the top and shut the mic off. If there's no light, it's off. She's laying right behind me with it. Oh, now she took it into her cave. Oh. Andy says, I was moving my quail all around yesterday, vent sexing and banding the young ones. I never realized this before, but did you know if you feel around, you can feel an egg in the hens if they are laying? Yuppers. Little Rich says, reminder, I'll be live today in 2 hours. So you're going to be live when I end. Okay. And he says, it makes vent sexing a little easier. Yeah, one of the big ones I thought was a male ended up being a female. So I must have vent sexed her right after she'd been mated. And Steve wants to know what the topic is, Mark. I think he's having a guest speaker, if I remember correctly. Good morning, Christina. Christina's Grafted Branch Homestead. And she said hello to you all. I missed you lately, Christina. Diane says, I sell lots of quail eggs to my people at church. I just love them. We had a breakfast last Saturday, and I made sausages, eggs, and bacon at the church, and they all liked the quail eggs. Yeah, that's a wonderful way to do it. Andy said, Little Ridge, I would like to make it to yours, but after Verna show, we have to run to the feed store every Saturday morning. Christina says, good to see you. Fran Crow says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Fran. Is it started to warm up there yet? Oh, no, you're not far from us. That's right. Andy said, hey, Matt. I don't see Matt in here. Andy, have started yet? Andy says, hello, Fran. Andy, did you get those, what did you plant for microgreens, Andy? Mung beans. Francis, question for you. I saw a posting on one of the quail groups that had a gentleman making stainless quail plucker plates. Anyone know who he is? Not offhand, Fran. Fran says, hi, Andy. Andy says, Steve, have you? Time and Timber Homestead. Good morning, you all. Good morning, Jasmine. I was just talking about you a minute ago. Wondering if you and Andy got together. And he says, I put up a video proof. On Facebook or YouTube, Andy? Jasmine says, we did. Fran says, good morning, Jasmine. Andy said, good morning, Jasmine. C says, procrastination award recipient. Oh, you did it on YouTube? Is yours under your name? Grafted Branch Homestead. Good morning, Jasmine. Hey, Matt. Now I see what she was talking to. I didn't see you. She says Jasmine has new little chickies at the homestead. Andy says, yes, under this name. Well, Andy, I'm going to have to find you and subscribe to your channel. Hold on a minute. I'm going to show you guys one of my mung beans. This is the mung beans. And this is alfalfa. Oh, okay, let me see. Jasmine says, morning, Matt and Fran. Andy says, looking good. Fran says, wow, looks great. Andy, I hope it doesn't knock me out if I hit it. Let me see. No, it didn't knock me out. Yay. I'm subscribed, Andy. Brad says, I subscribed and it knocked me out. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. And he says, people tell me they can't find mine easy for some reason. And he says, oh, cool. Mark says, Steve, interviewing a lady about her homestead rabbits, chickens, quail, greenhouse, and more. Diane says, Andy, I found you, YouTube. And he says, awesome. Oh, I am so mad this week. That crazy man that I've told you guys before had dumped out my garlic and destroyed my garlic. Buster said, subscribed. Mark said, Time and Timber Homestead, good to see you. C says, I was searching Andy Rabbit. It's rabbit in quotations. Jasmine says, you too, Mark. Matt says, you gotta be kidding. Gotta be kidding about what, Mark? And he says, oh no, Verna, that's so sad. Kidding, garlic. No, I'm not kidding. And Jasmine's picking up her new puppy today. Yay! And he says, oh, okay, Steve, that's nice to know. Yeah, he killed my garlic. Francis, new puppy, what breed? New puppy. Boy, am I with it today. He goes, that's fun, Jasmine. Enjoy the puppy. Sip some more coffee, Verna. Sip, heck, I'm guzzling. I need to get a new refill. Be right back. Jasmine's handing out coffee, Steve's handing out coffee, and so's Andy. Coffee all around today. That's wonderful. Says Koa is doing really well with the new chicken chicks. Excuse me, we received in the mail yesterday. I hope he does a good job teaching his little brother. Jasmine says, Fran, we are getting a second AKC Great Pyrenees puppy. And Jasmine says, yippee. And Jasmine, you know you'll have to help Koa teaching the brother. Andy says, I miss Great Pyrenees. They are awesome. So he says, we have one down the road that guards the sheep. Not we, as in me. Yeah, in other words, one of your neighbors. Jasmine says, new puppy's name is Splendor Dicari of Time and Timber, but we will call him Ari. Said like sorry. Ari, okay. We will call him Ari. Ari and Koa. Jasmine says, yep. It's a wonder you didn't get a female so you can get your own puppies, Jasmine. So C says, so is that like Ari? Jasmine says, I'm so excited. Lots of happy dancing happening today, LOL. Yeah, didn't you have some chicks? No, that was Katrina that had chicks born on Valentine's Day. She says, I was curious why she decided another boy. I think she wants them to focus on guarding, not breeding. It's like Jenna has 3 female Great Danes and 1 male now. Andy says the baby boom is starting at Jasmine's place. Ha ha ha. Jasmine says, heck no. I ain't raising puppies. I have too much going on to bring more puppies into the mix. uh, I am well overdue for a haircut, you guys. Matt says, I get more baby chicken chicks Tuesday. Fran says, remember the magic number of puppies is 14. Yeah, like Jenna's puppies. Jasmine says, yes, it really is, Andy. Baby chicks Baby quail, baby rabbits, baby goats, baby geese, and puppies. She says, "I don't think my incubator is counting down the days. It said 10 minus 10 2 days ago, and it says 10 today. I know it was Sunday, but not which one." Uh-oh. And he says, "I don't have the patience for puppies anymore. I used to raise puppies in the past." Jasmine says, "If y'all don't hear from me in a month, you know why." Why are you expecting, Jasmine? Matt says, "I need a Jack Russell Ranch." And he says, "My incubator is empty." So is mine. Half my hens will not put up with the mail. Francis, I had some empty cages, so I put 92 eggs in the incubator. God help us all if I get my usual hatch rate. Should have about 150, 160 birds. Well, friend, you could always take some out for balut. And Steve, if I was you, I would take those eggs out of the egg turner tonight. Okay, Jasmine says no human babies for us, so we fill the hole with animal babies. Hey, that's great to do. Matt says 92. Oh boy, 160. Oh boyer. Fran says, I don't think so, Verna. Andy says, I figured out yesterday I need to build more cages. And Steve's away from the keyboard. I need to get more eggs. Fran says, I have a grocery store asking for some more eggs. I can't keep up with their request. Is that chicken eggs or quail eggs, Fran? And he says, LOL, after watching Verna's video on eating them, I think I can pass too, Fran. Quail eggs, Verna. Are you talking about balutes or fresh eggs? Fresh eggs so far. She also wants balutes. 12 days is about the sweet spot. 12 days, candle, ship. Grant says, I deliver so it would be easy. What does everyone charge for balloons? Well, Fran, I'd say about 75 cents an egg. With the price of electricity going up and the price of, feed going up, yeah, and since you're delivering, I'd say 75 cents an egg. Ron says, "Okay, thanks." Andy says, "I figured I might not get eggs for a few weeks after moving them around yesterday. I have a lot of stack up, so a week or 2 will be okay." Well, Steve's back at the keyboard. Welcome back, Steve. But balut eggs are not bad. If you like, egg drop soup, that's what it tastes like. Francis, "I am in the bee's shop this morning. The fire is just now getting warm." Did you eat your quail? Yeah, I only see 4 feathers. She left 4 feathers, you guys. And Andy, if you moved your birds just from cage to cage, they may not stop laying for you. If they're in the same room or the same area where everything looks the same, they may just keep on laying. Jasmine says, "Got y'all in my pocket while I do chores." And she says, "I don't like sardines because I can't get past the bone, so I don't know about balut." Um, if you do like I did and just pop them in your mouth, you won't see it, and I didn't feel it, and I don't have teeth, so I could feel everything. Diane says, "Does she eat the feathers too?" Yes, Diane. She only left 4 feathers on her mat where she ate it. Steve says, "Sardines have bones?" Yeah, they do. Did you know if you pressure cook a chicken in the old-fashioned pressure cooker, most of those bones become like sardine bones? And he says some were moved to one end of the cage and a few were moved away different cages. But wasn't the different cages in the same building or area? If they're in the same building or area, it may not affect him. Fran says, "Gotta go. Someone's coming into the shop." Okay, Fran. Good luck. Yeah, she eats every bit of it. She starts at the head and works her way down. And he says, "When I make bone broth, I powder the bones after for the garden." Yep. You could also powder your eggshells for the garden too. And you know you can save your animal blood and dry it and put that in your garden as well? She says, "If you make broth and powder the bones, couldn't you just add the powder to the broth?" You probably could, Steve, but it's better for your garden. And he says, "Some cage is across the walkway. The jumbos went around the corner, and the young celadons went where the jumbos were." Okay, so you might have a little display, but I don't think it's gonna be much. Usually when it's up to 2 full weeks is like when you move them from another farm to your farm. And he says, "Yes, I do, yet blood meal." Yep, that's what I'm gonna be doing when I call the guinea pigs. I'm not gonna make a day to do it, I'm just gonna do it. Annie says, "Oh, okay, maybe I will not lose all the eggs then, cool." You might not. You may lose a couple days. I don't think you're gonna lose 2 weeks. Oh, Annie says, "I meant wet blood meal." Yep. I know one of the thing that goes crazy over that is, rose bushes. They love a good bloodbath once in a while. Lucy hasn't brought any more molds up to me lately. She did that one week when she left it in the doorway. And he says, I also bury the innards and feathers or hides if I'm not going to stand them." Well, Lucy gets my innards, the ones that I don't, freeze dry for, and she gets some of the feathered hides. See, I don't have a good place I can bury things, 'cause I have to do all mine in pots. Andy, what do you use to tan your hides with? Borax and salt. And he says, "My outside cat will eat his fill when out there butchering, but my dog won't even look at something that's not cooked." Lucy will eat whatever I give her, except for a lot of vegetables. She doesn't like very many vegetables unless they were cooked with meat. C says, "If you had a good place to bury, you could do the crazy garlic killer." Yeah. That's why we're cousins, Steve. Because when I first found it, I looked right at his apartment and I yelled, "Whoever killed my garlic, I want to get him." And he says, "Salt and aluminum sulfate, I think is what it's called." I'll go look up the name real fast. Okay. She says, "I have a truck and 500 acres out in my back door, just saying." Yeah, but that psycho would probably come back to life. We'd have to run a stake through him and cut his head off. Uh, just joking though. Me, I'd just be happy if I had a quarter acre or a half acre. If I had a full acre, I'd have pygmy dwarf goats, pygmy goats, dairy goats. I sent the pictures to the property manager. He got rid of about a bag of the dirt. But I heard him at 7 o'clock this morning. He was outside cussing and yelling he's going to kick her in the face. And it sounded like he was dumping rocks or something. Don says, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Don." And says, "Yeah, that's what it's called. It's a fertilizer. Salt and aluminum sulfate." Andy, if you have a link to where you can buy that at, why don't you drop it into the room for us? Don says, "Andy, hello." C says, "Good morning, Don." Let me see if I can get that. Oh, yeah. I'm going to add that to my list. do, and you don't it's manufactured in China, so you don't really know what all's in it. John says, "Good morning, Steve." You can tell my nerves are bothering me. I'm doing a lot of scratching on my neck and my head. Today is almost as bad as Wednesday was. And I do have my distiller running today, except for it's gotta be off for at least an hour before I'll try to open it. And he says, it's not a true tanning, it's a pickling, they say. It's not truly tanning till it's smoked to waterproof it. Alrighty. C says, "Okay, Andy, how did you shorten that URL?" Matt says, "Distiller?" Yeah, I distill my water, Matt, because I don't get along with, well water here. Dawn says, "I moved my birds around in the cages I have and have not missed an egg yet. If I bring a hen inside to heal an injury, it does stop laying." Yep. Now what do you want, Lucy? And he said, "I just hit the share and then copied it to paste in here." Does this Verna, do you have a stovetop distiller or an electric countertop one? I have the electric countertop one. But give it at least an hour after it stops before you try to open it and start over, or you'll get burned like I did Wednesday. Yeah, mine's the electric countertop one. A stovetop distiller would get me in a lot of problems. Mine's the electric countertop one that holds about a gallon of water. And he says, "I seen a distiller on Amazon the other day for like $50 or something." Yeah, let me get the link to the one that I usually use, that I bought, rather. Let me see if I can find it here. This one's more expensive, but I know it works. Well, can't do it this way. Let me see if I can find that thing that says to shorten it. That's what I have to get to it, 'cause we gotta find where I put it at. Ah, there it is. Uh, Yep, it worked. That's the one I use, it's like $84. And he says, "Verna, is there a triangle with the circles at the end of the points on the picture?" That's what I clicked on to share. Let me find it again. I can't get to that thing. It's being blocked from my ad blocker, darn it. It's a box to the upper right of the picture with an up arrow on my PC. But I'm on a phone, not a computer. Jasmine, you have a great weekend too if I missed you, because that was 3 minutes ago. Well, see, Steve, we all learn from each other. That's what's so great about this community. And I never paid attention to that triangle with the arrow before. And he says, "Ha, Steve, I have shown that to a few people that didn't know about it. But when I tried it on this page, it says to sign in on Google. Lucy, go lay down, baby. You don't go out for another hour. Oh, I gotta show you guys the package of seeds I got for more microgreens. It's called the 12 variety microgreen starter pack. With Keep on Growing with my Banduzi, but it's from True Leaf Market. And it says one of my celadon babies is, I guess it be called a bantam, LOL. John says, Verna, how long does your distiller take to make 1 gallon? A couple hours. John says, I'm looking at them on Amazon since I couldn't get through the link. And he says, it takes hours, Dawn. I think my dad said about 5 hours. That's probably right. John says, oh, wow. I remember when Mike got those starter packs to sell. That is cool. I got these from True Leaf themselves through his link. And I'm going to tell you what all I got in this starter pack. Red Storm sunflower microgreens. See the back on the front of them looks like that. Agnostic broccoli microgreens. Slow bolt cilantro. I don't know what shiso perilla Korean is. Let me see what this one is. Curled cress. Yeah, I agree, Dawn. I'm going to have a lot of fun. This one is Red Fire Orac. It's Orach, I think. Some things I never heard of. Peas. Pak choy cabbage from Shanghai. Nasturtiums. Empress of India. John says, those things you never heard of will be fun mystery seeds to see if you like them. Yeah. This one here is a spicy salad mix. Premier Lawn Service says, what is the best way to go from Celadon hatching eggs to having a cage full of true Celadon egg layers and breeders as far as genetics? I don't do genetics, Premier. I'm sorry. C says time and patience. I don't do Celadons and I don't do genetics. This one here is beets. And last one is Rambo Purple Sprouting Radishes. I tell you what, you need, my advice would be, is you need a couple of breeds of Celadon layers so that you can rotate your breeding so you don't end up with inbreeding. Because with Celadons, you have a problem about being inbred too much. Indy says, Premier, don't ever hatch brown eggs. Test each of the roosters to a blue laying head and watch the babies. If one lays a brown egg, he's not a blue egger. In other words, he didn't carry the gene. Because even if they hatch from a blue egg, doesn't mean that they're Celadon. Premier says, thank you. C says, finding the right male can be a tiring experience. And he says, it is a process, but number one, start with a good breeder. And you have to remember, Premier, every bird that comes out of a blue egg doesn't mean it carries the blue gene, the Celadon gene. Only trial and error will get you to that point. It's not as easy as a lot of people think. Andy says, that's right, Verna. Andy raises Celadon, so she knows. In my opinion, I don't like them because they're not worth all the trouble. Because I only have very limited space, and I have to be choosy on what I breed and I usually breed mine for self-sufficiency, not eye candy. And he says, then when you get them all laying blue, the trouble then seems like It begins with the hatchlings. Yeah, you have to be careful of inbreeding because have if you keep mixing all your eggs together, you'll end up with inbreeding, and then you won't have a line that is different, which means you'll get half the meat on the bone. Matt, are you still here? Are you having a live stream this afternoon? And he says, I'm okay with having a brown layer in the cage. Just never hatch the brown eggs. But the rooster has to be a true blue egger. Yep. And he says the brown eggs become the eating eggs. Oh, that didn't say let. Do you have any more other questions, Premier? And he says, if you really want to mess them up, put a non-blue egger rooster in with them. See, the Celadon gene is a throwback gene. Matt says, I got to get to chores. Glad I caught your stream today, Verna. Have a blessed day, y'all. Matt, have a blessed day. Are you going to go live later? C says, the problem is finding the right rooster that continues the strain. All I know is he has to come from a Celadon, but still not a guarantee. And he says, yes, it's a funny one. No real rhyme or reason with it. Matt says he is tonight. Okay, Matt, I hope I can catch you tonight. And he says, goodbye, Matt. You have a blessed day, Matt. Boy, it's gotten quiet. The animals are quiet. The chat room's quiet. And Steve's away from his keyboard again. And Lucy's quiet. It's too quiet in here. It's nerve-wracking. And he says, "Yes, Steve, lots of test breeding. Just because they hatch from a blue egg don't mean that they are a blue egg or hens or roosters." Don says, "Ha, I'm off looking in Amazon at distillers, LOL." Diane says, "Had to go to the computer, iPad died." Is that an Apple, Diane? Diane says, "Yep. I know they're good at graphics, but I don't like them myself. I refuse to have somebody tell me when I have to buy a computer because the other one's outdated." Vermont Quail says, "Ho-yo! Hi, Bruno!" Did you tell Steve what I did, Bruno? Dawn says, "I think I need a still because I use 3 gallons a day through the Berkey for drinking and cooking." Bruno says, "Nope." Hey, cuz, I messaged Bruno and said, "Hey, cuz," and he said, "Wrong Steve." And he says, "Hello, Bruno." And Bruno says, "Hello." Dawn says, "Oh, I didn't know Bruno was Vermont Quail. Hi." Yeah, he's Steve Bro on Facebook. And he says, "Dawn, my dad turns his on at bedtime. It's ready when he wakes up. I turn mine on in the morning when I get up, and then I turn it, and then I check it before I go to bed, dump that water out, put new water in it, and then it's ready in the morning again. Sometimes I can get another one in between times." Bruno says, "Yep, Vermont Quail and having a hard time selling. Lost my shorts." Oh, no. Don says, "Andy, that is cool. How many gallons does your dad make?" And there's Freezer. Yusuf says, "Morning, Verna. Morning, Yusuf." And he says, "1 gallon at a time. Steve's back." And he says, "Hello, Yusuf." Don says, "I'm only seeing the ones with the best review percentages are pretty expensive." Well, if you look at the one that starts with an M, it is a good one. SO says, "I put my shorts away last fall, never lost mine." And he says, "I help you out later on about the link, Dawn." More foreign, yeah, I think that's it. Yusuf says, me and Mom watching and drinking coffee. Morning, Mom. Talk about coffee. I need to go get some more. My cup is empty. Okay, I'm back. Morphin countertop water distiller, 750-watt digital panel, stainless steel, alcohol distiller, purifier, filter, 1 gallon, 4 liters, glass container, perfect for home. Okay, that's not what I got. Mine's electric. Let me double check the one I got here. See, I don't have that one, Dawn. Mine is a pure water distiller. It doesn't do alcohol and all that. No, mine's white in color. If you do a search with water distiller, it's one of the Amazon's best rated. Let's see. It says, I got attached to this gray chicken chick. It is so sweet. Hops on my shoulder. I named it Pom Pom. C says, just take out the spaces, Dawn. Bruno says, what do you use your distiller for, Verna? I use mine for water. I cannot stand the water here, the well water here. And so I distill my water for my coffee machine, for my tea, for anything I'm going to drink. Now, I will use the water here, the tap water here to cook with, but I won't use it to drink. And he also asked, what do I do if the chicks have diarrhea? Diarrhea usually kills chicks. Dawn says, I got it, Verna. And she asked Steve, what spaces? Diane says, Verna, what brand name is yours? It's the one that I put in Morphin Pure Water Distiller. Let me put it in again. Right there. C says, I like when one forms an attachment with you. Breezy says, Verna, did the chemical spill affect you in Ohio? No, Yusuf. That was in Northeast Ohio, and I'm in Southwest Ohio. That was up by the Pennsylvania border, whereas I'm by the Kentucky border. And he says, wow, my baby chicks have made a big mess overnight. They are growing fast. Diane says, I can look back. She says, brand Mo Farm. Diane says, thanks. And he says, check this out. Yep, that's it, Andy. $83.99. That's the like for the one Verna has. Yusuf says the chicks have diarrhea. Other than that, they are healthy, chirping, eating, drinking. What makes you think it's diarrhea? Just because it's wet when it comes out of them? Steve says any effect would be Pennsylvania and into New York, Buffalo area. Yeah. Bridget says, I made chamomile tea for them, mixed it in to the water. You should have got some electrolytes for them, Yusuf. Diane says, great, thank you. Yeah, that red one's like $30 more. And he says, I didn't type to check this out, LOL. I guess Amazon did. Or Google did when you hit that corner arrow. And Little Ridge Farm is live in 30 minutes. Interview with Farm Girl in progress. C says just a little ACV for our gut health. You can actually give them a teaspoon of yogurt. As you can tell, I'm not quite awake today. I don't want to wake up all the way. But if you got any electrolytes for your chicks, like Rooster Booster, that would be the best thing to add to their water, Yusuf. You just hope those chemicals don't get here to Massachusetts. We're in the north, and it's super windy. You would have already had some fallout by now, Yusuf, because it's been a couple weeks ago. She says, I think that rain would have pushed most of it to the ground. I agree, Steve. It's the people that were just a few miles away from it in Pennsylvania that ended up losing their farm animals and stuff. Their pets, farm animals, people getting sick. Dwayne never had any sense anyhow. I don't know why he's still in office. That's because people around here are afraid to change to something new because they know what they got, but they're afraid of what they might get. John says yesterday people were losing animals 395 miles away from it. That is sad. John says those chemicals will be in all our food and water. Buddha says, haha, so true. But in that area, there is a lot of water tables. And what we have here is a deep well, so it would get filtered a lot before it got into our water. But it was in the wrong direction. It was in the northeast section of the state, and all the fronts were pushing northeast, so Yusuf says, I'm so annoyed because our local feed store started selling 50-pound feeds for $30. Tractor Supply sells for $20, but Tractor Supply is 45 minutes away. Everybody's trying to rip us off, Yusuf. John said they had another derailment in Michigan too that is just as bad. Yeah, they're having them all over the place. And never mind. I have to drop it right now. I don't want to go there. Just say I don't trust any government. Do you guys watch the Y Files? Yusuf says, and I know for real that feed they probably buy at wholesale for like $12 to $13 for the bag. They're just greedy. John says, drop it, Verna. I was just saying, we all will need to distill water. Yeah, I agree. C says, I'm amazed at how much of our grains come from Ukraine. Yeah. What happened to all the farms here in the United States? And he says, is Tractor Supply bags a full 50 pounds? I've noticed a lot of their bags are not 50-pound bags, but 40-pound bags. Yep. Bruno says, you and me both. Trust the government. Yusuf says, sunflowers come from Ukraine. I'll just sit by and read you guys for a while. U.S. is shipping all grain to China. Yeah. Freezer says, V, where do you get your feed from? At the moment, I have to go to Tractor Supply to pick some up. C says, I thought South Dakota was the sunflower capital of the world. Don said, that is so strange because I know sunflower farmers with acres of nothing but sunflowers. And Yusuf says, Ukraine is the sunflower country. C says, Russia is number one producer and Ukraine number two for sunflowers. So that's what the war is all about, Steve. Russia wants to stay number one and is attacking Ukraine for being number two. Yusuf says there are battles in the sunflower fields because they're so big. And he's laughing over sunflowers too. C says, yep, getting rid of their competition. And you know what I just realized? My picture of quail eggs that I used for my icon, when it's small like it is on my screen right now, it looks like a moon. Don says, oh, that is such a pretty way to die in all the pretty flowers. Yusuf said, for real. They could eat some sunflower seeds too in between the war. That's only if they're ripe. They're not ripe that long. Freezer. Eddie says, I haven't seen one pretty sunflower on the news when they showed the war over there. She says, so they can tell where the soldiers are from the sunflower seed husks. Isn't black oil sunflower seeds a great dewormer for birds and cattle and stuff? Hands on griddle trails, haha. Steve says, silly Andy, you can't show pretty stuff in a war. It's not the image they need to portray. Andy says, yes, Verna, you're right. That pumpkin seed for worms. Yep. Well, so is black oil sunflower seeds. And Andy's agreeing with Steve. And how are you doing, Otis? I didn't see you sneak in. I wonder if Buster's still here. Let's see. We have 11 people in here. And, oh, we only need 2 more likes, you guys, to have 20. We need 2 more likes. Andy says black oil sunflower seeds will make rabbits fat. So that's what you feed your grow outs, Andy, so that they get fat. Eustace says, I hatched quail 3 days ago. I wanted to keep them, but this person who buy our quail from me, he wanted to buy some from me, and I ended up selling all. Buster says, yeah, just listening. Oh, I see 21 likes. Yay! Dawn says, I see 19 likes. And Bruno says, yeah, I see 19 too. Vermont, Bruno says 22 here. I see 21. Premier Lawn Services, does anyone use processing cones for quail? I have heard they help when doing a lot of birds. If so, which ones work the best? I'm going to show you, Premier. I bought 3 of these. I have 2 of them that I have on a 2x4 that I use for calling, but this is what you need, and they're very small. But I still have to do the bloodless call to put it in there because they know how to get right out of this. And he says, well, Verna, rabbit fat is not in the May. Whoops. Oh, this is good. This could be the last wood stove mornings. Oh, I got 22 now. Showing. And he says it's not in the meat. In the cavity, it sits on the meat. Yeah, but then you can render that fat. Eustace says, I hope we don't get into a war with China. See, he says, for real, cheap clones. Looks like kids' soccer cones for even less expensive than empty plastic soda bottle. Yep. You may have to cut the bottle part that screws on off. She says, how many rabbits do you have to butcher to get a decent amount of fat to render? Otis says they've already won. Yeah, they won when they sent us the money for our stimulus checks. They control more of the United States than people realize as it is. But I better not go on say any more. Eddie says I use a 44-ounce Sonic cups and cut a hole in the bottom for cones. She says I cut the bottom of the plastic bottle and then go cut the top for my cones. And he says a lot, Steve. That's why you freeze the fat until you get enough to render. I rendered some pork fat that I got off of a pork loin, and it filled my bacon jar. Premier says, good ideas. Thank you. John says, I use 1 liter Fuji water bottles and clip them around the pail. And he says, they say rabbit fat is nasty tasting. I haven't tried it. I try not to let them get fat. Yeah, because if a rabbit gets fat, it doesn't want to breed. Otis, what state are you in? Are you in Kentucky? And he says fat female rabbits can't have babies. It will crush them out. No room to grow. Yeah. And a fat male doesn't want to do his duty. Yeah, Otis says Central Kentucky, yes. Let's see what it's supposed to be here next week. Well, it's going to be in the 50s Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, 60, 70 on Monday, on Friday, then back in the 50s for 3 days, then in the 40s, then the 50s and 60s. So it's going to be spring-like. Buster says, I got my egg peeler. It works great. Did you get the electric or the manual? And he says, I have a bag of rabbit fat in the freezer. Someday I might try rabbit fat soap. Freezer says, Verna, do you like cinnamon sugar pretzel bites? If they're soft pretzel bites, yeah. If they're hard, I can't eat them. C says, I started my hatch on the 12th. Woohoo! I figured it out. So it's the 26th that they go into lockdown. Because C says, I read that as rabbit fat soup. Haha. Yusa says, those are my favorite. The ones you get at the mall. Buster says his peeler's electric. I got the manual one because I couldn't see by an electric one because I don't peel that many at a time. Even the manual one does good. Yusuf says, Verna, you should raise rabbits and koi if you have space. Well, I'm getting some rabbits at QuailCon, Yusuf, from Andy. They're going to be Havanas. And I may be getting rid of the kois. I haven't decided yet. I have to see what it tastes like. And it says, that's why I put the soap on the comment. So he says, I love Mind Buster. I also have electric. So bad they raised my rent $100. Then the electric company's trying to steal another $100 a month from me. And I am not going along with that. The budget building up to $249 a month, that's ridiculous. Andy says, I'm building an egg peeler just cuz, LOL. Yusuf says, I just ate the best bread I ever had. It was from a brand When Pigs Fly. Yusuf, I make all my bread at home. Steve says, Andy, if you don't have room for the rabbits and Dawn in the car, let me know. I'll change my route and help out. Haha. Andy says, I have everything lying around. I thought I would just try to make one for the heck of it. Do it, Andy. Buster says, Steve, it's the one y'all gave me the link to. Thanks. Yusuf says, do you have a bread machine or do you bake it? I have a bread machine, but I also bake loaves by hand. Another thing I do is I make my own puff pastry. That way I know what's in it. Andy says, LOL, sure thing, Steve. C says, my daughter built my alternate egg peeler, but he eats most of them, James. Yeah. Yusuf, when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, my nesting urge was I made bread. I had made 6 dozen 6 dozen loaves of bread. And about the same amount of dinner rolls. And went around the apartment complex that I lived in at the time to sell them. Then I went into labor that night. Andy says, I just need to screw it together, but yesterday was so nice I decided to work with the quail instead. Yeah, it's supposed to get nice here tomorrow. Today's already 10 degrees hotter than it was yesterday. Yusuf says, do you like strawberries? If yes, I know from experience you can raise them on your windowsill. Just put them on the one that gets the most sunlight. That would be in the quail room, Yusuf. And he says, when I get the egg peeler done, and if it works, I'll post a video on it too. That would be cool, Andy. Steve says, neat, Andy. Well, yeah, it's getting about that time. I'm going to have to head out. Andy says, you should and use liquid fertilizer. I'll make my own fertilizer with quail shavings and stuff. C says, I saw a post the other day of someone made a plucker out of a washing machine tub. Well, that would be good for chickens, but I don't think it would be good for quail. Everyone have a blessed day. Hopefully see you tomorrow night. It says mix in Home Depot bucket quail crap and water and let it set. Exactly, Yusuf. Y'all have a blessed night and hopefully see you tomorrow.